Today's Tactical Tuesday, and before we get started, if you don't know who I am or you just happen to stumble upon this Facebook Live, my name is Aaron Bowman, and I have a small real estate team called the Bowman Realty Group. And on this page, we like to do a Facebook Live almost every Tuesday, and we call it our Tactical Tuesdays because most of the people in my real estate team are either former law enforcement or former military. And so we thought that'd be kind of like a cool thing to do every Tuesday. And we bring you market reports, updates, information on staging and selling your home, things you can do to get the most money out of your home. And today we're going to be talking about the dangers of overpricing your home, which happens a lot, unfortunately. But we'll get into that in a second. I just wanted to touch on some interesting news I saw this morning that UTC is now splitting up into 3 different companies to go after the more of the aerospace stuff. So it should be interesting to see how that plays out, as we do have Pratt Whitney, in East Hartford, to see if that really either brings in jobs and increases home buying, or if it's going to increase home sales because people are now moving out of the state, being that they split up into 3 different companies. But we'll have to keep our eye on that, and I will link the news article in the description to this Facebook Live and on YouTube if you're watching the replay. So what I really wanted to talk about, like I said, was the dangers of overpricing. Now, overpricing happens more often than you would think. It's happened on some of my listings because the homeowners that have been in the home for 15 to 30 years have put in some upgrades in the home, and they really feel the home is worth more than it is. And that's really a tough conversation to have sometimes with a homeowner. You show them the comps and the comparables in the area, and you show them exactly what their competition is, and they still just don't see it sometimes. And that's unfortunate because you get most of your action within the first 2 to 3 weeks when your property goes live. So if you're working with my team or somebody from Maz Real Estate, you have your photos done, your drone footage done, your video walkthroughs, your storyboards all done for the property, because we're not just selling the property with our group, we actually sell the environment of the town that the property's in. Especially if somebody's moving from a different town, they may not know all the cool places to go and hang out or get a coffee or a good place to get a Sunday dinner or something along those lines. So we kind of try to sell the whole environment. Now the problem is that some homeowners, like I said, have been in their house for so long and they're really stuck on a price. And let's just say it's $300,000. But you show them, and that's at the top of the market. And yeah, there is a house that sold maybe for $300,000 or very close to that, within the last 60 days or 90 days. But the problem is, one second, if you guys hear the banging, we're just having some work done in the house, so I apologize because I'm shooting this in my kitchen today. If you can hear that, but so like I was saying, that house might have had a lot of updates. It might have had, hardwood floors redone, or pergo floors put in the kitchen, or, granite countertops and new appliances and painted from top to bottom, and, completely, move-in ready, no issues with anything. But the problem is that other home that you're trying to sell as the homeowner or as the agent trying to help your client, their home is outdated, or the kitchen cabinets have just been painted but they haven't been updated since the 60s. And there's certain things in the house you can just tell that are dated. And sometimes it's really hard to have that conversation with a client and say, listen, I get it. You feel your house is worth this much money, and you've been here and you have that emotional attachment to it. And the good thing of working with a realtor is we don't have an emotional attachment to your home. Most of us should come in and tell you exactly what your home is worth, and get right to the point, whether it's going to hurt their feelings or not. Because if we're not being honest with them and telling them exactly what their home is worth, they're going to put their home on the market for, let's say, $300,000, when other homes in the area are selling for, let's say, $250,000 to $260,000 that are close to what theirs looks like, needs some updating. Maybe the floors need to be refinished, maybe it's got really bad paint on the inside, and the windows need to be replaced, stuff like that. And it's tough to market. I forgot where I was going with this. That's the problem with these Facebook Lives, and I don't have my notes in front of me today either. I'm kind of doing this off the cuff. But the point is they're going to put that house in the market at that higher end, and that thing's going to sit for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks without any showings, without any calls on it, because people are going to look at the photos. They're going to do, the other agents are going to have their clients do a drive-by of the area, and they'll be like, well, the house needs to be painted on the outside. The roof looks like it's, got 15 years on it. It's not an architectural shingle. So there are going to be things that stand out. And they're going to be like, well, why am I going to pay $300 for this one when this one sold for $290 and it had all these updates? So, as a homeowner, you really need to listen to your agent and make sure that, if they're showing you realistic comparables, and when I do my market analysis, or somebody on my team does one, or anybody from Maz Realty, I know that, we all try to stay within, a half-mile radius of the home, depending on, the town. If you're out in Coventry or Bolton, it might be a little bit harder because houses are, a little more spread out, or if you're out in, Woodstock, something like that, you might have to go a little bit further. But for the most part, we try to stay within a half mile. And, excuse me, just a little drink. You have to stay within a half mile, and usually within the last 6 months. And sometimes if it's not really a hot market, or that side of town's not selling really fast, you might have to push it out, instead of, 60 days, maybe 90 days, something like that. But you want to be, no more than 10% off square footage, stuff like that. You really want to keep it, ranches to ranches, raised ranches to raised ranches, colonials with colonials, split levels with colonials, capes with capes, that type of thing. So you're really comparing apples to apples. And if your agent's doing a good job, they should be able to show you exactly what's selling, what your competition is, the difference between these houses. Now, not necessarily your agent's going to walk through each one, but normally the photos are a pretty good tell as far as what the house looks like. And if they're featuring new granite countertops and new appliances and new cabinetry and new floors, and you're still got the shag carpet in your den, that's gonna be a hard sell. So just kind of, put your emotions aside if you're a homeowner and you're looking to sell. Really take what your agent's telling you, whether it's myself, somebody on my team, or another agent in another company, but really take what they're saying and really look at the raw data, because that's what's going to tell you what your home is worth. And if you put it on the market for more than that, it's going to sit there forever. People are going to think there's something wrong with it. You're not going to get any listings. You're not going to get any showings. And then, or I'm sorry, not listings, but you're not going to get any showings. You're not going to get any calls on it. Your agent can hold open houses. That's still not going to bring anybody in, because they're going to look at the price, and no matter how good the advertising is, if the house doesn't justify the price, nobody's going to buy it. So just keep that in mind. And if you work with our team, we have some performance guarantees where we're going to sell your house in 39 days, and if we don't, we eat our commission, stuff like that. So there's certain things that we do a little bit differently, not to plug ourselves too much, but we do sell homes a lot quicker than most agents, and that's because we do things a little differently. Now, if you want to know more, you can always reach out to me through Facebook, or give me a call at 860-333-1843. But that's just really important. I don't think a lot of homeowners understand what can happen if you don't market, or not necessarily market, but if you don't have a really good realistic price on your home. And then there is a difference between a list price and a sale price. I could list a house for $1 million. It might only be worth $100,000, but hey, if the homeowner wants to list it for $1 million, I can list it for $1 million, but it won't sell for any more than $100,000. And you see that a lot. You see huge price decreases or price corrections that a lot of agents call them, because they might have put the house on at $300,000, but the last one in that development or that neighborhood sold for $260,000. So maybe they, after 15 to 30 days, they bring it down. Somebody's at my door. I'll be right back. All right, so sorry about that. I apologize for that. I just had one of the contractors at the door that's doing some work on the house, and they're just finishing up. But like I said, when it comes to overpricing, you really want to make sure as a homeowner that you're listening to what your agent is telling you, and or the broker from that office is telling you when it comes to pricing your home, because the last thing you want to do is have your home sit on the market for X amount of months, still be paying that mortgage payment on that home if there is one, taking money out of your pocket every month, as opposed to pricing it correctly, selling the home, and then moving on to whether it's a bigger home or you're downsizing or you're moving to a different state. You just want to make sure that you really have the house priced correctly for the value that's there. So that's today's video, guys. I hope you found it somewhat informational and some good information out of it. We'll see you next Tuesday. Thanks for